hey, I need to be able to build a prompt for a buyer persona, but I want to make sure that we're on the same page in terms of what is the composition of this buyer persona. And so we may start with like geo, demo, psycho, or some other things that you may think is important, but give me your answer in 250 words so I can review it first. And so part of it is just want to just see where ChatGPT's at in terms of its understanding of what a buyer persona is. Because remember here, you are kind of the captain of this ship in terms of what ChatGPT knows. And so I kind of gave it some direction in terms of geo, demo, psychographics, and behavioral factors. And so it's good. Geo, demo, psycho, behavioral. What are the pain points? What are the goals and motivations, objectives and barriers? Okay. And so for you want to see these definitions. And so for your buyer persona, is this in the same orbit for what you're thinking about? And so I usually ask, hey, is there anything else that you may want to add to this in terms of a list for being able to build out a proper buyer persona? I think that you would also put in what industry you're in. And so I think that when you're doing this, let's say I'm in artificial intelligence or I'm in education or I'm in a particular field of study. And so ChatGPT is now giving us an entire rundown of what this would look like. Okay, so this would be like a general one, right? This is general. As you can see, it gives me a lot of information, but I think that it would help if you said, hey, I work in a particular industry like artificial intelligence, or if you wanted to keep it broad. But I think you say, hey, I think I've captured, is there anything else that you want to be able to add? I would read through these briefly just to see if they look good to me. And I would say, okay, is there anything additional? And so I do a couple iterations of just like a normal brainstorming session. Typically, when you're brainstorming, you do a brain dump. You put out all the information that you can have. And so here's a structured buyer template. Okay, this is good. And so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to switch to O1, and then I'm going to say, hey, based on all the information that we've just discussed here, is there a way you can help me assemble a prompt in the form of prompt engineering that I would be able to use as a template for doing brand personas across multi-industry or multidisciplinary or multi-segments. I wanted to be flexible in terms of how I can use it. And so we'll use O1 because that's a longer prompt and we want, some more advanced, reasoning here. I might be really curious to see what DeepSeek would do with this. So all right, so here's your prompt. You're a marketing strategist whose deep knowledge on consumer psychology, marketing trends, and buying behavior. Your task is to generate a detailed buyer persona, right? I need the buyer persona for a product, service, industry, niche, murder. Okay, good. And so then this says age range. Okay, yep. Behavioral. Yep. Okay. And so this says how you use the template. You would fill in the placeholders, persona name. And so I would copy this just because we want to see what this looks like. And we're going to open up a new window, the model back on 4.0. And we're going to see if it says, okay, what's it going to prompt me to do? So it gave me another one. Okay, so I refined it. I'm glad you guys could see. So this is part of like what happened. And so I gave it the whole prompt, but it isn't working. And so I may come back and say, hey, can it be ready-made? And so I would go back into my prompt window. This is where I would ask ChatGPT and I would say, hey, I need this prompt to be ready-made. I don't want to have to fill in placeholder data, or if the placeholder data is not already present inside of the original user's prompt, then maybe that's something you should ask, but I want the prompt to be built and facilitated in this kind of way. And so we're going to hit prompt on that. We're going to hit submit on that. And then we're going to also make sure we're using O1 because we want it to give us a more comprehensive prompt here. All right, so here's a ready-made master prompt. Okay, you're an expert marketing strategist with deep. Please create it. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right, and so boom, we're gonna put all of this here, and then we're gonna try again. And we're going to use O4 correct. And then let's see what we have. And so this should be able to prompt you now. All right, okay, that's it. And so I didn't offer any information. And so now ChatGPT offered me a product or service. So here's where I think the voice to text is important, because normally people start typing. That's a lot of information to work through. And so I'm just going to give you an example of how I would do it. And so right now I'm into consulting. My product or service is being able to do coaching, AI coaching, right? One-on-one coaching to show people how they can build prompt libraries or custom GPTs. My target audience is, I would say, professional services, those working in the knowledge economy. My unique selling proposition is I just have more hours logged and I have more experience, and there's a pretty good gap between what I know and what the baseline understanding for folks is. My geographic focus is remote right now, global initiative, industry application. I want this persona to be adaptable across multiple industries. Yeah, I think it would be good. I'd like to be able to see it across education, across tech, across finance. Okay, let's see what we get. And so as you can see now, this is how you would use your prompt, and we'll see what information I get. Let's see here. All right, so we get a buyer persona coaching, and then it puts together my persona, the strategic innovator. And now we're gonna see how well ChatGPT defines my buyer persona. And so it says 30 to 55. This is interesting because the people who watch Hoff Digital are between 30 to 55. Gender, it skews male, maybe 60% male. Income level, okay, that's fair. That's a pretty that prices a lot of people out. Bachelor's degree or advanced degrees, I could understand that. Consultants, executives, yeah, this is actually global, believes in leveraging technology to work smarter, of course. Okay, so this is good. This is actually really, really good. So now you can focus on who your buyer persona is. I think that's going to give some really good information in terms of focus point. And I think the next phase of this will be, hey, let me take this information and start to design and develop a landing page and something like lovable. And so I'm going to take this prompt for you here, and I am going to put this into the Rudy prompt library and make that available for you like now. And you can go check it out here in the multi-industry persona bio generator. You can copy that. You can view it. As you can see, it has the prompt in here for you now. Like I said, you can copy it there and be able to use it. And so what do you do with this now? Now you can build a custom GPT. You could go put this in Vercel and say, hey, you want to be able to build some kind of custom output that builds other persona. You can have some kind of detailed, better version of the front end output that's better than GPT, ChatGPT's output. And so I hope that's helpful. Let me know in the comments below if you guys have any other prompts that you need help working through. You can get this in the prompt library that's on the Rudy Responsible Use of Digital Intelligence. I'm working on having some other just cool tools in here to be able to use. But nonetheless, the library is here for you to be able to have, and have a wonderful day, y'all. Peace.